Today I'm going to talk about why I think women are raped. First of all, I think it's the structure of our society such that it is created only to suit men and not created to suit women. So when a society is structured and is privileged towards a certain gender, the other gender has to suffer from inequality. The first reason amongst the sub-reasons is tribalism, or a caste system, where rape is seen as a form of degrading another tribe or degrading another caste. Therefore, there is a power manipulation, control. These themes gathering to explain why certain men rape certain groups of women to discriminate their tribe, caste, or where they belong to ethnically and perhaps nationally. So it's a tribal war, it's a caste war. After seeing why men rape women, we also need to understand that men might rape women in order to control them and possess a woman's beauty, so that if he rapes her, she will not have the privilege to do something in life, such that she will be weakened and she will not able to strive over him. And this gives the man or the male an ego massage, or makes him feel stronger, because of course the person who does that in the first place is internally weak, or he has some problems psychologically with his own situation, such that he thinks by raping a woman he is going to make her inferior. Another most important reason that goes along with the structure of our society is the political context of our society. The laws that are made are not respected, and maybe in certain regions of the world there are not laws or policies structured to suit women, but more are structured to suit the men who structured those policies. So that's something to consider. Poor laws, poor enforcement of laws, and we see an absence of women in the public sphere, meaning we'll see more men officers than women officers. We'll see more men lawyers dealing with women cases where women gets raped than women dealing with women cases. Now, this explains to something even more deeper, and that is the illiteracy rate. Where rapes happen, you can't say necessarily yes, but education does matter, because illiteracy rate is high, and then people tend to emphasize on their cultural, social categories more. They try to create that indifference. I'm not saying that in an educated society there are no differences, but the educated society deals with matters like this in a more sophisticated manner that remains hidden in certain forms. But you can also say that the educated society is abusive, but is the chances of that happening is less. And I think illiteracy matters a lot, because women at the bottom of the pyramid, if they have a chance to access education, they can take themselves out of that situation, get karate lessons or self-defense lessons. Of course they can't prevent rape, but they can be exposed to not only self-defense literacy but also to sexual liberty and getting education on sexual education, such that they can prevent themselves from coming to a situation of rape, or move out of a region where they're unsafe. And that upward mobility can only happen through education. So getting back to my point, in order to develop better laws that are for women, we need to get our society educated so they can develop and understand that women are different from men, and their beauty might sometimes be a curse, because they can be, they don't need protection, but they're on one side they're objectified to be beautiful, and on the other side they're shown that they need protection. Why? Because these two societies, which objectifies as beauty, oh, you need to be beautiful, and oh, you need to be protected, are controlled by men. So women need to be educated. Education is a step forward to developing better policies and a better law for women. Another sort of related issue that I think might cause rape in a larger scale is overpopulation and abortion of girl child and discrimination against the girl child, such that, let's take the example of countries in India where there is no intellectual liberty to talk about sexual issues or, free love and autonomous sexual relationships. There's no freedom, and the freedom they have, it's not used appropriately. So there's sort of like a clash between cultures. And when in a society where men are seen to get married and be, they want to reproduce and stuff like that, so where men cannot find women to suit them, because of course women in India are much more smarter, are getting much more successful, and they're becoming better than the men. So it's getting harder and harder, and even the population of the girls are reducing due to the abortion and a lot of discrimination against the girl child in general. So you can say that men might go crazy out of the stress and go rape a woman just because they cannot control their hormones. I think that is sort of a thing you can say, but it's not a major factor, but it could cause. But I think tribalism is the most important one. And relating from the overpopulation, meaning that there are more men and less women, we can also say that restricted educated liberty to explore free love, restrictions on how to talk about issues on copulation, these sort of things matter, and they might make men and women both uncomfortable, because I believe it's a very parochial and still in certain regions of India is very, conservative and reserved and orthodox. So only way that this communication can be made in order to improve the quality of people and improve the behavior of people is through a good education, not just a thorough theoretical education, a much qualitative education, so that individuals think before they act. I do not think Westernization is a reason for rape, but I think bad police officers, lack of good infrastructure, lack of enforcement of those institutions that are governing or provide women with the safety of not getting, are not there. They're not effective. There's no, like, if you take example of India, they're not regularly, there's a lot of corruption, so they're not regularly taken care of. There's a lot of fishing and cooking in the pot going on, which might not meet your eye. So I think Westernization is not the entire part of the deal. Westernization has brought capitalism to India, and India is becoming rich. Oops. And actually good things are turning out with capitalism, but the way it has been approached is not a good manner. What I feel, it's a class regime. I really think it's about a class regime where they think by raping women we are stopping them from actually trying to come up in life, because women in India are getting really smart and educated and independent, and that might intimidate Indian men, you could say. Another important point that I think that might cause rape is, I think, stress in people's life generally. Like, life is generally really stressful, and if we live in a very individualistic society, people tend to have this evil nature. I'm not saying that it is like everyone is evil. I'm just saying that certain people might become tuned in such a way that they feel, or they're uncontrollable in such things. Like it's more like a psychological thing. But I think if they're stressed, it is more prone to cause harm on other people, because it's a very selfish society. So I think that another aspect I think that causes rape is women don't take care of their children. Women, or men in fact, let's not just blame it on women. Women and men, or let's say mom and dads, don't take care of their children. So what happens is you raise kids, or men or boys, who are not taught that you should treat your sister, don't be violent against her. It's not the whole picture, it's just certain rapists have that nature where they have this family history of abuse and parents who don't care, and their childhood has not been good, so they think inflicting pain on other people is okay. So I think if you plan on having a family, please take care of your kids, provide them financially, provide them emotionally, and provide them structurally. Don't just give them quantity of things, give them quality of a life. And it's very important to understand what a quality of a life means, because when you raise kids with a quality of life, they treat other people with a quality of appreciations and understanding. And my last point emphasizes the structure of our society. Structure of our society wants women to get raped because they want to make women dependent on men's protection. So if women try to do something on their own, I think they get raped in sort of way to make them feel inferior, unequal. Women's clothing is sometimes voyeuristic. Yes, they can be sexualized, like wearing skimpy clothes. Women only wear those clothes in certain areas, but if you're wearing it like to work, you're wearing a tank top or a bikini to work, then that's a little absurd. That should not be done, because okay, if you wear a bikini to your corporate office, then if you get raped, wow, yeah. So basically those are the reasons I think women get raped for, and there must be a lot of other reasons that people have. So if you have any more discussions or questions based on this issue, please share them with me. I like